Enterprise Ireland is a state agency, and our responsibility is to help our Indigenous industry base to grow through innovation, exports, and ultimately to develop global scaling strategies. My role at Enterprise Ireland is to help companies to develop an IP strategy around their innovation in relation to their products and services and in relation to the export markets they want to enter into. Intellectual property is a key asset for companies that want to expand their reach, to innovate in the first place, and to develop that global scale. SMEs and startups rely on their intangible value, and that's very often reflected in their intellectual property. So it's very important that they have an IP strategy in place to help them to leverage that asset for their growth and for their business plan. We feel this is really important to bring this sort of event to Ireland because there is a challenge around IP awareness among startups and SMEs. There is also a challenge around IP literacy, and for SMEs and startups to be able to understand how to capture their IP. And so at this event, they heard from experts from around Europe on how to do exactly that, and how to relate it to their business plan, and how to communicate their intangible value through their intellectual assets, which they can exploit then with investors, collaborators, customers, and for winning new markets. That's why Enterprise Ireland are so interested in this sort of event. For several years, Enterprise Ireland has supported companies to innovate, to conduct research and development, because everybody knows, these companies know that they need to be innovative to compete in a global marketplace. Unfortunately, companies are not as aware that intellectual property is a key part of their innovation strategy, and that they need in the first place to capture their intellectual property and manage it properly, and then they also need to deploy it strategically. So what we do is we complement the R&D supports that we give to companies with an additional IP strategy support, which is a financial support to those companies to bring in the external expertise they need to develop their strategy, but also to develop their in-house capability so that they can take more ownership of their challenges and their opportunities. So scaling is difficult. The marketplace is now global. Companies don't compete on their tangible assets anymore. Companies compete on the intangible value that they can offer to their customers. That has to be managed somehow in the form of intellectual property, intellectual assets that the company has. So our role in Enterprise Ireland is to help companies to develop that IP strategy and to be able to communicate their value, their intangible value in the marketplace. That helps them to expand their global reach and to scale their business across borders.